Welcome to Reap What You Sow. My name is Seth Schaefer, and I'm here with a special guest, Mr. Jerry Ying.
Oh my God, what have I got myself into?
You got yourself in a whole lot of trouble, punk. No, so Jerry is an amazing filmmaker and also does some amazing stuff with his company, Hero LA. I know you have a couple partners. I've been researching a little bit about you, and I've been seeing all the stuff you're working on, but it definitely seems that you've been doing a lot of work lately, and I am excited to hear what you got going on.
We have been working hard at Hero, that's for sure, and we have grown to 4 partners total.
That's what I like to hear. So, I see you're doing some stuff. What was it? Hope Solo was the one who was on there?
Yeah, we were. I mean, Hope Solo was part of a larger campaign. 6 months back, or maybe 8 months back, we had started an idea of, sometimes when you want to shoot something spec and enter a space on the branded side, we all pitched something to the team, and I had pitched my daughter's soccer club, Tudela FC. One for access. 2, it's my daughter's club. 3, they're amazing at what they do. And 4, I really believe in their mission. And so we started crafting a treatment and a pitch to the club. And that led to us shooting a branded spot for the club called Dreams, which I'm sure you've seen.
Yeah.
But the bigger plan at that point was to take that piece and pitch that to Hope Solo and see if she would come in for the second piece, which was her letter to the club. And her PR team, Mile 44, and Hope really dug it. And we went ahead and shot that, and it came out awesome. And Hope is amazing, and we believe in her mission and the club's mission align, which is diversity in girls youth soccer.
That the whole thing was, awesome. Not only did you make, your daughter probably looks at you like, what a superstar.
Not.
Like you were. Well, come on. She's got to be like, wow, I can't believe that you pulled some straight. You had some.
Kids don't care about that. I'm an embarrassment to her. Here's a funny story though. So I went to the other day. I had to drop her off at school. She had volleyball practice before school. Dropped her off. She had left her homework. I drove home. I was like, oh, you know what? I saw the homework. I was like, it's early. I'll go drive all the way back to school and drop it off. Walk into the gym holding her homework and was just going to sort of quietly acknowledge her and put it on the side. Instead, she put her hand to her face, twisted away like a pretzel in total embarrassment, which prompted me to be like, Chase, your homework, it's right here. I love you, honey. And walked out. And
so you made sure, you made sure that she knew.
She was embarrassed.
Yeah.
Don't do that to dads.
Yeah, I don't think my. Yeah, that is. Yeah, I do. I'm thinking right now. It's like my mom would do really nice stuff for me as a kid, and then I'd just be pissed. Like, what are you here for?
Oh my God, my mom used to come to school and speak Chinese, and it used to kill me. I'm like, Mom, I'm trying to get a date to the junior prom. Please stop speaking Chinese to me. It's cute. Looking back on it, it's super cute.
Well, I guess it's funny. You appreciate it later when you look back and you're like, oh yeah.
Well, she wasn't doing it as a joke. It's really all she spoke at the
time. So instead, you went there, tried to help, and it failed.
She was embarrassed, and I just topped her embarrassment by embarrassing her further. So the point being, I don't think anything I've done for the club has made her see me one way or the other.
Dad, it's just like
the other kids do.
Hey, you get validation somewhere out of
I got to play to the crowd, man.
To the masses. But so the Hope Solo thing, so you put this whole thing together, you guys pitch it as a group, and then after that, they were like, this is amazing. Yeah, we'll be involved. And then it all worked out for everyone.
Well, yeah. I mean, the lesson in that is there are creative endeavors, but you kind of have to have an idea of the greater plan, the scope, and how something can scale. So we don't get involved in anything unless we understand what the business involved with it is afterwards. I mean, they're all creative endeavors, and we're fulfilled in that way. But a lot of filmmakers, a lot of people I know go into something, and they just the act of making it is what it is to them, and then they don't know what to do with it.
The after.
The after. And honestly, the after has to start as soon as you're making it. You already have to be thinking forward. I mean, you have a small business. I'm sure you didn't just show up here and be like, I'll figure it out when I got here. There was a plan.
No, for sure. It was mapped out and Still mapping
Still
out.
as a matter
Yeah.
of fact, the Hope Solo Piece campaign has a third component to it, and that component is for us to take it to the sponsors of the club, which are Nike. At the time, it was Under Armour when we had made the spot, but while we were shooting, it flipped over to Nike, and they're great because they really help out with the grassroots. And so the third component is about their Teddy program, Today You Dream It. The club's amazing. Free practice, free club academy membership, same training my daughter gets for 6 to 8 year olds. They go to lower income areas and they invite the kids up there, and the whole thing is about cracking the pay to play situation in girls soccer that everyone's griping about, all the way up to the national team. So all the missions aligned, the club, hopes, and our messaging.
And that's, I think, the other part of your whole thing there is not only just the effort of collaboration and working with other people and with people that have the same aligning mission, but also the part of putting something into action. A thought is just a thought until implemented. And look where this simple action of, okay, well, let's plan this out a little more, and then here you are.
I mean, the lesson is when you're chasing clients, you can have the idea, kind of like you were telling me earlier about this podcast, but then you have to do it, but then you have to execute it. And then when you have people who are busy and successful at what they do, you have to keep maintaining that business relationship. And so every step is a dating process. And when it comes to like dating, if you meet the really beautiful girl in the bar or club, all it takes is one bad text and it's over. You're ghosted.
Kind of like you, we're done. That's it.
Oh,
No,
great.
But
I messed up. And
cut.
to prove my point,
Cut.
that entire thing was just to prove my point. See? There you go.
That's how fast we cut people. We're cutthroat here at Reap What You Sow. So, no, I'm just kidding.
Great. Maybe now I can make it my next meeting.
Well, we do have a 7-day podcast coming up, and it started about 20 minutes ago. So
It's a matter of attrition. I'm a huge fan of attrition, yeah.
And well, so to your point, though, the action is crucial. I think collaboration is another thing that really we hit on. The relationship is really the base of it, of getting in a group and working with people with your missions that align. So with your partners, and now I guess another new one.
Well, yeah. We've added who we met together with.
Yeah.
Albert. We started a scripted division to our branded side, and
Nice.
It's been going nuts.
He's a good dude too, so that's
he's
gonna
a
be
great
a good
guy. You need to get him on here.
I certainly will. Yeah.
He was Paul Thomas Anderson's producer for 10 years, so we're really lucky to have him and his feature experience.
Yeah, that's great. It's cool to have him involved too, especially because I know him. I mean, he's a goofy character to say the least. I hope he's listening. I hope he sees this. I'm watching you. But go ahead. You still you're about to say something? Go ahead. Hit me.
I was going to say something snarky about Albert because you said he was listening, but I missed a moment.
That's okay. But so you have a new partner. So what does everyone bring to the table? Because as we're talking about collaboration, what's it look like in your business?
Oh man, I'm really happy you asked that, because this last 2 jobs we've done, it's really crystallized what kind of team we have, and I love it. We're non-redundant in sort of how we are on the day when we're shooting, and it was evident because we shot 2 pilot presentations for Project X 2 weeks ago, and Albert and I could have gone the entire days without speaking to each other, and we were both producing hard. We're different producers. And then Tim, who is our cinematographer and my partner on the branded side, camera team needed some help, and he came in and filled in the gaps and went about his business, and the 3 of us were working independently to try to help the filmmakers make the best film they could. And then my 4th partner, Sam, was up in San Francisco on a shoot, and he was sending us decks for a couple pitches and sending us treatments. So all 4 partners were working in unison but not together. Yeah. However, before the shoot, we're all working together, producing hard as a team. But then on the days, and it was amazing. And our executive, Andrew Moncrief from Project 10, commented on that. Like, we're all different. I'm more of a creative producer, and I'm also sort of, what's happening on set. Albert is very much a physical producer and handling all fires off a set on the phone constantly. And Tim was there for the technical side, and Sam's there on the creative side. And that kind of works all the way around for us.
Well, I think it's important that non-redundant part that you were speaking about, having people who also are good at what they do, but stay out of your way so you can do what you do best. They do what they do
Yeah,
best.
and we know each other's jobs, and I could help out for his what he does. I mean, we know all the key positions, but on the day where everyone's doing what they do best.
Stay in your lane.
Someone was saying that we were the Ninja Turtles, and I never watched that, but they said I was Raphael, and I'm not really sure what that means.
You were missing out, man. What are you doing? What was your childhood? You need to.
I was busy being cool.
Oh, clearly you were, man. You weren't watching Ninja Turtles, but it is like that. Everyone has their own special thing, and even I find that even with friends and people that I'm, we all kind of have our niche where it all works together, and it's important to surround yourself with people who have other skills that benefit you and that you can benefit them, because if I'm hanging out with a bunch of suit makers, like, well, we all have the same ideas, we all have the same thoughts. There's not a lot of good feedback that you'll get from someone else because they have a different perspective from a different part of the industry. So kind of what you're talking about, if you have people doing different pieces of it, you get better criticism, you get better ideas, you get better product at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, as I think where you want to be redundant is as producers, meaning not on the day, but beforehand. And by that, I mean people work hard, they're ambitious, and everyone wants to work towards the same goal. And you want to be redundant in that, which is like effort and, vision. But when the rubber hits the road, it's amazing if everyone's got a job that they're amazing at, and then that's what they focus on.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think more than anything, that your mission statement or your core values of what you believe in, that is where you either get along or you don't.
I mean, we talk about it all the time. We're constantly talking about what our values are. I mean, without having a conversation, be like, what are our values? We're always reiterating what's important to us. And over time, that message sort of gets honed. And then because we are thinking forward, when we have more employees in a bigger company, we want a culture. We want the culture that we want. And that starts with leadership. And if we're all on the same page, then everyone's on the same page below.
It starts now.
It started 18 months ago.
Right.
When we talked about why we wanted to do this. And
bingo. So why?
Well, I mean,
for you at least. I
for
guess.
Me personally?
Yeah, for you.
I was an actor for 15, 20 years, and that's how I raised my family, and was fortunate enough to do that and not have to work and wait tables and so on and so forth. So that was actually, as a matter of fact, I feel like I pulled the wool over Hollywood's eyes and had a career. So thank you for that, Hollywood. But I had a moment
you
where
made it. Congrats.
Hey, yeah, 20 years vested in SAG. So my point was, I had reached a point, and I just told this story last night, where I had a week where I was on Avail for 2 commercials. I went to producers for 2 TV shows, and I was feeling high, and I had booked a couple jobs, rolling up to Christmas. And I was laying in my bed, and my phone rings, and it was my agent. And I was like, I literally, and I'm not joking, I'm glad there's cameras here, I literally did this and used this voice. Hello! I was so ready for good news, and what I got was, Jerry, you have an audition for Nickelodeon on Monday. And I just hit the floor. I was like, because one of the things as an actor that you have to do is manage your expectations. Not get too high with the highs, not too low with the lows. And it hit me. I had no control of my career. I could be 50. Walking into a room and auditioning for a job, and that's when I started writing. And then writing turned into shooting a series, We Are Fathers. That opened a lot of doors. That led to writing for television, getting a literary manager, and then that led to ultimately me starting Hero with the guys.
It's funny when you think I got it, hooray!
Oh, you never get it.
Boom!
Yeah. Well, that's the danger in life. You got to stay present. And I just saw Free Solo the other day in the movie theaters. And if you don't know about it, it's about Alex Honnold, who free climbed El Capitan. If you ever want to watch a movie about staying in the present and having big dreams, that's what that is. I mean, he is climbing on pebbles up a steep face. And if you're not present, it's over, dude.
You're done.
Yeah, incredible film. Really motivated me.
Staying present it's funny. I was at a skate park Sunday and I got my phone stolen, and then I was pretty excited about myself because I stayed relaxed through 99% of it. Yeah. There was definitely a percentage where I was just like, what? And then I was like, okay, it's not a big deal. And throughout the night, I noticed, though, because I didn't have a phone on me, I just was in everything. Whatever I was doing, cooking, cleaning, hanging out, talking, it just was, I was very present. And it's made my outlook different. I wasn't sitting on the couch doing stuff. I was just hanging out. Yeah. And I think that being able to kind of get yourself in that place, it takes a second for me. It cost me a phone to kind of understand, I need to be now. And that is one of the most enjoyable things, when you can take a second to look around and go, wow, and then get back into it and move forward. But I think people are also wondering, like, what's your schedule like for someone who's doing films? And I always think of a night owl. Are you early riser?
Early on it was very much night owl. I would do a lot of my writing and stuff till 2 a.m. Now that we have full-time business, I try to maintain regular hours unless it's impossible to not. So I wake up super early, probably 6 a.m. I get something physical in. Either I run, play tennis, or play soccer early in the morning before the day starts. And now I'm going to be adding rock climbing to that. So I joined a gym.
I just did that recently. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a great culture. And that's how I'm going to avoid the dad bod. I'm looking at rock climbing as my way of avoiding the dad. Because I'm not a gym guy. I hate gyms. I've never been a workout guy, not since like college. I like to sweat and do stuff. But this gym that's right in between my house and my office, called Stronghold, you walk in, gorgeous climbing, tons of people, great community, small gym on the side, so I could dip into that for 5-10 minutes, and then there's a yoga room behind that, and I can get some flexing.
That the shoes that you have to wear for rock climbing are the most uncomfortable things that have ever touched my feet.
Yeah.
It's like this curled toe.
It's like being bound.
Size 8s. I'm like, dude, I'm a 10.
And
get it together.
It's like old school China when they used to bound your feet.
That's it. You want a size 4.
You can't get away. You can't really run away far.
Yeah. So I did that, and it tore me up, and like my fingers hurt and everything. I was like trying to climb. I was like, this is way different than what I thought.
You're clearly an indoor mouse.
Yeah.
You wear suits.
That's not true, man. I am a surfing, snowboarding, and skateboarding. I am rough and tough as nails.
Okay, you're a Renaissance suit wearer.
If you see me, if I take off the suit, you see bruises and scrapes.
Please, what have I been invited to? Please keep your suit on and clothes on.
I gotta go. I run it back.
Or we could take our shirts off and just hang out.
No one wants to see that dad bod, dude.
Wait, I'm sorry. Let's do this podcast in 6 months when I have the dad bod gone.
Yeah, you don't need a gym membership, but I'm the same way. It's nothing. I don't go to the gym and then leave and I'm like, yes. I leave and I'm just like, I was not happy with that experience, and so now I do all the same kind of stuff, though. I try to do activities that are working out but are fun. Yeah. To me, that are fun.
Yeah.
But
I think the point was that I get up early, do something physical, hit the office, and there's always a ton of stuff to do. I mean, you're always pushing every project along, trying to always move all the balls forward, and that sounded horrible. But we're moving all the business forward. Scratch that. We're moving all the business forward, and lately we're running around for meetings, and we have a couple other pilots on the table, and there's work. So you're always running around town for meetings, and then you're downloading, and sometimes, like last night, I had to leave for a biz dev drink meeting. It was torture.
Must have been awful.
But you know what? It was after an entirely long day we had 2 meetings at the office, all morning of emails. Obviously, mornings are usually emails. Trying to get all the correspondence out, bring teams together. Then you're doing business, and then if you're in production, then you're on the days you're doing production. But we always have one of the producers kind of trying to push the business along. Mm-hmm. And sometimes at night, like last night, all 3 of our partners were back actualizing a budget, building a deck for today's meeting, and trying to rescue data off of a card that so they were working, I was working. I was probably a little happier than they were.
It sounds like it. I mean, could have been worse.
Yeah.
But with with your data and with that stuff, is that one of those things where you're always backing up files and backing up things in case anything ever
Oh my
happens?
God, dude, data is a huge part. Thank God I have nothing to do with it. I mean, I have a ton of drives myself, and we have a lot of shuttle drives. I mean, I think we have like 5 editing drives out right now with editors for jobs. But when I'm talking about data, we're talking about like shooting 4K,
Huge files.
huge files, and that costs money. So actually, we're in the process of looking for a sponsor, like going to one of the big storage. I don't even know the word for it. One of the data companies. That is
Hey,
not
data
my
guy.
specialty. I'm not that guy.
Hey, data guy.
No, that is my partner
give me
Tim
some
and
storage.
Sam. Yeah, I'd call up and be like, "Can we get some of those storage thingies?" Yeah, click.
You show up
That's
at Target
why-
with these storage containers. We're like, wrong one, man.
Yeah.
Go do the creative stuff again.
As a matter of fact, they purposely keep me away from stuff like that. They keep me away.
You're the
from
guy who
like,
lights it on fire.
I'm
Just
not.
like-
I'm just gonna say I'm not that guy. And they're great at what they do, and that's another aspect of.
Back to
we
where we
have
started.
ideas. It always goes back to we have ideas. It goes through. It gets run through Sam and Tim, and they're all about our treatments and deck, and they're younger, which is also great. So another thing about our company is that we're all 4 different ages. We're all split apart, so we have different sensibilities. Sam and Tim are more from the branded side, and sort of they make everything look beautiful. I mean, they'll spend like a week on font. I literally was like, "There's more fonts than Courier."
You look like a Comic Sans guy. That's you.
Oh my God. I tried to use Comic Sans once, and they literally almost kicked me out of the company. Our latest argument is about script. I personally think script is coming back a little bit, but we had an argument about that. I mean, we argue about these things. And you know what? I kind of love it, and I really appreciate them having upped my level of attention to design. And that has helped as a filmmaker. As a matter of fact, and they're both great photographers, so I actually bought my first camera, and I run around and mess around. Like, they don't let me near anything important. It's
Right.
just for me to play around. And I mean, I have 2 great photographers that I can just ask any question of all the time. It's like, I got to be an idiot if I don't take advantage of that.
How do you do this? How do you do that?
I mean, and they're more than willing to. I mean, they overshare to the point where I just shut off because I'm like, that is too technical. I don't even know what you're talking about.
But there's a lot of relationship with video and photo, at least.
Composition. I mean, looking at composition, the way the cameras work are definitely different. And I mean, with photo, we're working with Sonys and Canons, but with video, we're working with Red cameras and RWYS.
Right.
I mean,
Very
those are
different.
beasts.
Yeah,
I
those
mean,
things are machines.
Yeah, you're bringing in camera teams from Panavision and so on and so forth.
I saw the way they use a Red, and they have these huge pipes that they made their
rails?
own slider or
Yeah,
whatever.
sliders, rails. I mean, dude, it's endless. If you're into that stuff, if you're a huge tech guy, I mean,
I'm
that's-
not. I am not.
I am not, but I love it. I do love all that stuff. I just don't have that, I don't have the patience to do that. I just like to go out and
Yeah.
ball. You know what I mean?
So let me touch on a situation of like what's your family life like? What's home like
My home life
in the
with
yin
my
world?
family
Yeah.
in the Ying world.
Yeah. In the yin yang world, I want to hear.
I have a pretty amazing family. Currently, my wife hasn't been working for 6 months, and she was like, you know what? It's time to start working. And she started going out for interviews. And I mean, dude, now she got 3 offers out of the 4 interviews. 2 of them are overbidding over each other. I'm like, oh my God, you're like, I was super proud of her, but I was also like, it made me see her and what she's doing in a different light. Like, she's really good at what she does. And sometimes I think people in the creative field and people like, she works in human resources, you don't really even know what the benchmarks are that someone's good. And now I know that she's a really valued commodity. And I mean, people are bidding over each other. I'm blown away, and she's super happy. So she's doing great. My daughter is 13, and she's crushing it with soccer, music.
Embarrassing each other.
She's funny. She's got a good sense of humor. She takes things well, and
That's important. Life skill.
I mean, she's on a path, man. I mean, she stabbed me in the back and got to private school. So, yeah, there's that. I mean,
kids.
but you know what? The good side is she's, I think, set. I mean, meaning this school is one of the top 20 private schools in the country, and she's self-motivated with grades. I think the world is her oyster, whatever she wants to do. I
That's
just want her
awesome.
to work hard and be happy, and not get too engrossed in the game, the race out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, especially if you can teach that being present and all the other things that it sounds like you're kind of learning of what you like to be around and what your values are, and then you kind of project on your kids a little bit. The idea is they take some of that with them.
That's all you can do, is really try to instill the values, build character. Because I mean, she's just turned a teenager. I mean, she's gonna. I mean, I don't even know what to expect, to be honest with you. But I mean, if she's like any other person I know or me, you
What
kind
were
of
you
just.
like as a teenager?
Oh my God, are we going that far back?
You troublemaker.
Well, Dr. Schaefer,
I
let
can
me
look,
start from the beginning. I was, she reminds me of a lot of myself as a teenager, but she has an American parent, if that makes any sense. I was born here. I was an American in every sense of the word, trying to play sports, do all that stuff. Meanwhile, I'm at home, I'm being guided by like old world principles, like, you know what I mean? My parents, like, I remember one time I walked out of my house, my jeans were a little ripped, and my dad called me over, and he literally stuck his hand in my hole and ripped off the bottom leg, and I had jorts on one leg. But they were stern, and I look back now, and I really value the values they instilled in me: respecting my elders, honesty, hard work. Although I didn't have work ethic back then, but it was instilled in me. And I think everyone comes around as they get older. And when you hit your mid to late 20s, you start realizing, you know what, man, my parents weren't that bad, and they weren't wrong. So
And that sucks.
yeah, yeah. But I get to do that with my daughter, and so I'm a little more lenient. Like, my daughter's got the benefit of, if she wants to go into academics and do that. I mean, I went to great schools, and I know how to play that sort of lane. And if she wants to go into the arts, Dad did that, and now I'm in business, and so.
You can kind of help guide her through what she
I
wants.
can, yeah. I mean, if she wants the guidance, I'm there for it.
I guess that's the better one.
You know what I mean?
If they want it.
I hope to constantly just remind her that I'm here to help you make decisions if you want. But
Did your parents try to push you in a direction of any sort? Like,
yeah, I mean, obviously they were always comparing me to like every straight A Asian kid in my town, and I literally was not that guy. But I was smart enough to get the A's and B's, and I don't think it's that hard to do that. You just kind of got to. I'm a good test taker, so you just got to kind of
do the test,
do the cram the stuff, take the test, and then use the other time to hang out and play sports. But they wanted me to obviously be a professional, because I don't know if you've watched like Asian movies. They're at a mahjong table and they just want to boast about their child. Well, they didn't have much to boast about for a while.
Well, I mean, but you ended up, you're in the business world. You are a professional. I mean, and you get to have fun.
I am, but they really don't see that. And, I let go a long time ago of having to try to prove my worth to them or even anyone. You can only just do and be consistent with who you are and what you're doing. And they see it, because it's a horrible position to like show up, especially family, because you don't see them that often. You only have certain touch points. You're like, I've been doing this and that and this. And it's like, dude, we're just here to hang out, not listen to your resume for the last 6 months. And who knows if it's even real, Jerry, So I just kind of want to let the work out there, let it seep in, and let them find it on their own. And,
right.
But I know they're proud of me. I have a great family now. And
I think part of that too is I think being an entrepreneur has been romanticized now more than it was years ago. It wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Now it's
a
like
different world.
Oh, you want to? It's like, and it's hard.
But it's also ubiquitous and sort of cliche. I'm an entrepreneur. It's
Right.
always in. People recognize the ones who are doing it.
The ones who are really doing it.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of people that I know that have a business or a company, but it's, do you really? What are you doing? Are you out there every day? Are you hustling? Are you actually making things happen? Or is it just the talk? And I think people can, you can look and see, like,
it's not fitting
okay,
the business into my life. It's me working in the world of my business all
Right.
the time. And everything is sort of super objective driven. And that's like an actor term where you have one giant goal. So everything I do, almost every decision I make on a day-to-day basis is or revolves around, does it take me a step closer to where we want to be, or does it take us away? Or if we're going laterally, why is that a good move for us? You know what I mean? So like almost everything I do, down to even being fit, Like one of the reasons why I want to stay fit is I know for what I want to do, I have to be at my peak form, whatever that means, mentally, physically.
Yeah. Well, they say, I think it was Richard Branson who had the top 3 goals, and if it doesn't line up with your top 3 goals, then don't do it.
Interesting.
If it doesn't go with these 3, then what's the point? If it's not moving you there, then
Yeah, I mean, work goals, life goals, personal goals. I guess those are all things that if you don't know, then you're not really consciously moving towards them.
no. And that I always tell people that for me, I started working with my father 5 years ago, and maybe 5 years ago, and I wrote down a goal for the first time. I read this book called Goals by Brian Tracy.
The book was called Goals, everybody.
Yeah, so that, with the name like Goals, you know what it prompted? Me to write my goals, dude.
Go figure.
Holy
That's
crap,
nuts.
man. So after I read this book, I'm writing all these goals and doing all this stuff, and magically things started to click. And I am an advocate for write your goals down, look bigger, do short-term goals, write for the long-term goals, and watch yourself check them off. And it's insane when you actually apply it and you make a little plan of like, how am I going to get to here? And it starts to work, and it's crazy. So
yeah, I don't have that level of I'm not a huge reader. I like reading, but my life feels so fast and so many things, and somehow reading is not one of I do have a lot of books. I start them, I read like a third of them, and it doesn't keep me going through it. I just put it to the side. But I don't have that sort of I don't journal. I don't write things down. You know, and one of the things I think because my early life was so much about math and science, I just keep it in the head. Like everything's just organized there, kind of in my head.
So do you tell people your goals?
I articulate all the time about what I'm trying to do. That's actually how I
people hold you accountable for it.
Yeah, I'm always talking about, where I want to be, how my growth individually, as I'm always articulating that, and I guess that's how I stay the course.
People. Yeah, always putting it out there and letting people know what you're doing is a good way.
Well, it helps me to hear myself and have to articulate it clearly. So I kind of need to hear myself say things to have things sink in. So I'm not much of a writer in that sense.
Well, the funny part is I know that for a fact that if I don't tell people what I'm going to do or something, that it won't ever happen, because I'll think of this genius idea and then keep it to myself. And then when the only person I'm letting down is just me.
Right, accountability.
And that's it.
You're talking about accountability.
Where when next thing you know, I'm like, oh, Curtis, I'm going to start working on this podcast thing. And then he jumps in. He's like, well, I can film it and I can do this. And boom, boom, boom. I'm telling my friends, and then I'm talking to people like, do you know someone I can interview and who's interested in this? And boom, we're here.
Yeah.
And that was 3 weeks ago. So getting it out there and then actually taking the action and going on it does things I did, getting it out there, make sure that people.
Man of your word.
Integrity.
Words are important. I don't say things that I regret. I'm thoughtful with what I say, and I'm thoughtful with every text, and I'm really thoughtful with every email.
So last little thing I want to hit on too is, as far as like personal style, clothes, fashion, where do you where do you land?
Where do I land?
Yeah, what do you like? What?
I'm casual to business casual. I think I work in that space, and in a weird way, that's kind of those are sort of acting terms when you're going on auditions or commercial auditions. So
Lesbian.
I'm a thespian. I certainly like to be comfortable, but I always like to have one element of what I'm wearing that's sort of my style, or that speaks to style. And the more I work in the branded side, or with our agency with Hero, the more it's important. So when I was younger, I used to have to dress for auditions, and then when I wasn't, that was like me dressing up. Then the rest of the day I'm chill. I'm like in whatever's the most comfortable, but now I have to sort of, when you walk in and you're getting client forward and they see you, What they can't think is you put no thought into what you're wearing. So I'm always thinking about what I'm wearing, but I'm always trying to stay in that. I'm not trying to be on the cutting edge of style. I'm just looking at style, absorbing and seeing what I like, and I'll try. And if it fits, like, like this shirt, it's simple. It came to me through, and all right, there's a funny story about this shirt. It belonged to Josh Dumel. It was his shirt, but it came through my neighbor, who is best friends with him and grew up together in Minot, North Dakota. And Josh had given him a bunch of shirts, a couple golf shirts and this, and he threw them to me. And it's turned out to be one of my favorite shirts. So thank you, Josh. And we worked on a show together, a pilot for Unsolved. Yeah, so I had met him separately, but this is his shirt, technically.
Nice.
But now it's mine.
Now it's yours, and
Yeah.
you'll never give it away. But I think that for people in your industry, I think it's you're at the normal, you're at the standard. That's a lot of people aren't gonna show up to the place fully suited up and things
Yeah,
like
no.
that, 'cause
There's gonna be moments, and that's kind of like any sort of event. But when it comes to style too, when we're shooting, if I'm directing, I'm definitely thinking about what I'm wearing. I'm looking forward to be like, what am I gonna wear in day one? What's day two what vibe am I gonna be on day two? And it's kind of a vibe. When I'm producing, it's a little more laid back and down, and I'm trying not to upstage anyone. Like, you don't want to show up like full on, right? So
Right.
you're just there to make sure everything's happening and moving forward. But you also want to instill confidence in the people that trusted you with the job. You know what I mean?
And then when it comes to editing, you sit in your pajamas at your house.
They don't let me edit anymore. But pajamas?
You just sit around.
What is this,
oh,
the
yeah.
1940s?
Hey, I don't know. If you ask my dictionary, it'll tell you that.
It is the
According to our
1940s.
dictionary,
According to that dictionary, they were PJs.
they were probably PJs.
Otherwise known as PJs.
Yeah, but they I definitely.
I'm probably in basketball shorts and like a t-shirt or something like that.
You
Late night.
don't wear the onesie. You look like that type of guy.
Oh, actually, you know what I've been wearing a lot? And you're going to die laughing. My friend brought back tie pants 10 years ago. and I do it. And it's kind of come from the dad bod where I feel like underwear is like pushing too hard on my stomach. And these tie pants, they're orange and they go just past the knee. And there's this drawstring. It's awful. My wife thinks my family thinks I'm retarded in those.
Yeah. No.
I should have brought them next time.
You can wear
But
them
they're
next time.
typical, like tie pants.
Yeah.
There's a fold over it. It's weird. It's just full on. You push it together, you fold it over, and you come and you tie it. And, it's not a pretty sight. But it's comfortable.
I'm done.
It's great if you've had a big meal. I'm like, babe, I'm going to put on the tie pants.
Maternity leave pants, dude. How old's your daughter now,
I have pants for every occasion.
Wait, 9 years of maternity leave with your pants?
Yeah.
Oh.
I call them my fat pants.
Is there any last thing? We got another minute. Is there any last things you want to say? Any grand announcements?
No, I mean, we're really excited about what's going on. We just shot 2 pilot presentations for Project 10, and they do Up Schitt's Creek on Netflix. I think they're on season 5 of that.
That's awesome.
We're taking a show to Netflix in 2 weeks. We're working with High Times. They're becoming a media company, and they're starting a television platform. Wow. But we went and pitched them a bunch of shows. One of the shows they loved has grown to the point where we have the editor from Making a Murderer. We attached a showrunner, and it's about the legalization of cannabis. And we're going into Netflix in 2 weeks, and we think they need to buy this show. So we have that going on.
Awesome.
We have a possible feature in the future, so we're budgeting for that. And other than that, we have a couple branded things we're working on and just pushing business forward on a day-to-day basis, man.
I like to hear it. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming out. We appreciate it. And that's it for Reap What You Sow.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.